my needle drops. Anthony Fantano here, internet's busiest music nerd. Gonna do an album review of the new Crystal Castles album, Crystal Castles. Canadian electronica duo Crystal Castles have finally followed up their 2008 self-titled debut with an LP that is also self-titled. And when Crystal Castles got big a couple years ago, there was a lot of drama and controversy over them. They're sampling this, they're stealing that, they're dressing like this. It's just a little I don't give a All I know is the first album is a fantastically diverse display of electronic music styles. There are a lot of bases covered on that first LP, like shoegaze, experimental techno, digital hardcore, and even chiptunes. So with all these different sounds, it wasn't the most cohesive album in the world, but still, each track was good, great, awesome, yeah, good album, all the way through. I don't care how many different styles you do. As long as the songs are all good, I think Crystal Castles' Deux is a lot more cohesive. A lot of you guys have heard the track Doe Deer, but believe me, the album never reaches that level of aggression again once that track rolls by. There are a few spots where you're going to have some shrieking vocals from Alice Glass that are a lot like on the track Baptism, but for the most part, this thing is a pretty clear exercise in just left field, chilled out techno alongside sounds of ethereal shoegaziness.
It's a little druggy. Just a little.
There's a lot more reverb floating around in the mix on some of these tracks, and there are a lot more walls of sound like what you may have heard on the track Celestica. And there are a lot of great standout moments too, like there's a fantastic Sigur Rós sample on the track Year of Silence. Suffocation has this really cool atmosphere, so cool that it's almost minty, and it has some beautiful fragile vocals from Alice Glass on the song too. And Vietnam has a great build-up into these crunchy synths that kind of sound like they could be soundtracking Mad Max or something like that. But I didn't like every track, which was kind of a disappointment for me, because that is how I felt about the first album. For me, the opening track doesn't bring anything to the table. And if you guys saw my recent track review, you pretty much know how I feel about Celestica. Beep, 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 beep. And the song Birds has this really persistent electronic glitch that every single time it plays, it feels like I'm getting needles shoved into my eardrums over and over. But still, I have to give it to this LP for creating an interesting electronic atmosphere and putting together at least 10 decent songs, in my eyes. In my eyes. However, the new songs on this album that I like, I feel myself kind of gravitating toward them because they sound eerily close to songs on the first album. Not to get too deep into track names, but some moments in Baptism sound an awful lot like the track Vanished from the first LP. And the vocal sampling on Year of Silence sounds a lot like the vocal sampling on Crystal Castles' Health remix, Crime Wave. But there are still moments where Crystal Castles takes the opportunity with this album to experiment outside of their comfort zone. Get a little louder, get a little quieter, and just kind of stretch out their sound and their musical vocabulary. So at the end of the day, my feelings on this LP are kind of mixed. I mean, yeah, we know a lot of this LP sounds good, but it's only because we know these sounds sound good already. I can't say this LP is as good as the first album for me, not by a long shot, but it's still a decent release, and there's no reason to lose faith in Crystal Castles or any shit like that. I'm feeling a strong 6 to a light 7 on this thing. Yeah. Thinking a light 7. But as we all know, this thing has come out digitally. It's all over the internet already. You've probably listened to it. And if you have, did you love it? Did you hate it? Why? Let me know. Down there. Comment box. Anthony Fantano, Crystal Castles, forever.